They didn't just rise, they detonated.
And geez Louise, that Oklahoma City Thunder. For the 14th time this season, OKC was without Shea in the fourth quarter.
While the NBA spent the year obsessing over OKC's dominance and Boston's veteran machine, the Houston Rockets were quietly building the league's most terrifying monster. A defense nobody could solve, a culture flipped overnight, a roster developing faster than anyone expected. And by the time the world realized what was happening, it was already too late. This team didn't just improve, they transformed. From dead last defense to elite disruptors, from lottery chaos to playoff threats. And now, with Kevin Durant joining a young, hungry core, Houston isn't just back. They're coming for the West with bad intentions. And if you love deep, sharp NBA breakdowns like this, make sure to subscribe, because we're just getting started.
Defensively, Jim, he has been everywhere this season.
The defense that keeps opposing coaches awake. This is where the Rockets start feeling like a real nightmare. They're not just good defensively, they're suffocating. They're relentless. And the crazy part is, they come out playing this sharp from the opening tip. Sure, they finished 5th in defensive rating, holding teams to 107.5 points per 100 possessions. But even that stat doesn't fully capture how overwhelming they really are. What Udoka has built isn't just a defense, it's a mind game. Every possession feels like a chess match where Houston is always one move ahead. One moment they're all up in your face in man-to-man, the very next possession they're suddenly sitting in a zone. You think you've figured out the pattern? Nope, Udoka flips it again. Kevin Durant, who probably understands strategy better than anyone in the league, spelled out exactly why this system gives teams headaches. He broke it down perfectly. Udoka might go man on one possession, switch to zone on the next, go back to man, then stay in zone for 3 straight, all in just the first quarter. And KD said it straight. If a coach does that and you're not prepared for it, you all off balance. And he's right. Even the best offenses start to crack when they can't settle into any kind of rhythm. But the most impressive part, it's how Houston pulls this off. Udoka doesn't even have a classic rim protector anchoring the paint. With Alperen Şengün at center, he could have forced him into a drop scheme that doesn't fit. But he didn't. Instead, Udoka rebuilt the whole defensive setup around what his players actually can do. He turned his bigs into active disruptors instead of old-school shot blockers. Şengün uses his timing, his angles, his ridiculously quick hands to force guys into awkward, low-percentage finishes. And Houston's guards, they fight through screens like they're defending for their lives. So yeah, the Rockets might give up more rim attempts than most teams, but the shots they allow are brutal to make. That's why opponents shoot one of the worst percentages at the rim against them, second only to OKC. That kind of discipline doesn't just happen. It's not luck. It's coaching, it's buy-in, and it's a defensive identity that has turned the Rockets into one of the toughest puzzles in the entire NBA. The rising stars who feed the nightmare. What makes Houston's rise so impressive isn't just Udoka's coaching. It's the players perfectly built for his system. Alperen Şengün earned his first All-Star nod in 2024 to 2025, putting up 19.1 points, 10.3 rebounds, and 4.9 assists. He's become a modern offensive hub, a high-post playmaker who can stretch the floor and stay smart enough on defense to not be a liability. Then there's Amen Thompson, one of the most disruptive second-year players in the league. Making the all-defensive first team is wild for someone still finding his scoring touch. Last season, he jumped from 9.5 to 14.1 points per game, while shooting 55.7% from the field. Even more important, his versatility makes switching defenses nearly impossible to exploit. He's too athletic, too smart, and too physical to hide. Jalen Green, the mercurial talent everyone's been waiting for, finally made real strides as a scorer, averaging 21.7 points alongside Fred VanVleet. And speaking of VanVleet, before his ACL injury, he was the glue every championship team needs. His toughness and veteran poise were the heart of what Udoka was building. The bitter playoff taste that makes them hungrier. Here's where the nightmare for the rest of the league really deepens. The Rockets didn't choke in the playoffs. They came within one game of an incredible comeback against the Warriors, even when down 3-1. In Game 7, they struggled offensively, taking just 18 threes and making only 6, facing Golden State's zone defense, which had been a headache all season. Buddy Hield's historic night, 9 makes on 11 attempts, was otherworldly. But that was a Warriors win, not a Rockets collapse. The loss barely stung because it was clear what was happening. Houston had built a real contender that only needed one more piece. One proven scorer, one elite creator. Someone to take pressure off Şengün. Enter Kevin Durant. The superstar addition. That changes everything. The Rockets didn't just make a move in the offseason, they made a statement. Bringing in Kevin Durant in 2025 didn't just add talent, it transformed Houston from a scary defensive team with offensive limits into something far deadlier. Elite defense paired with a proven all-time scorer. Durant signed a 2-year, $90 million extension, showing he's fully committed to Houston's future. This isn't some mid-tier NBA storyline. Durant, at 37, still wants to play alongside rising young stars and still believes he can impact winning at the highest level. In preseason, he dropped 20 points on 7 of 10 shooting in just 23 minutes, seamlessly fitting into Houston's spacing and movement. Why is this terrifying? Last season, the Rockets struggled in the half-court. Spacing and offensive creation were major issues. They ranked 20th in three-point attempts. Now, they have one of the greatest shooters ever. And defensively, Durant isn't a liability. He's smart, long, and versatile enough to fit Udoka's aggressive schemes, guarding weaker scorers while dominating in zone coverage. The 2025-26 reality check before anyone starts calling them the next dynasty, there are some realities to face. Kevin Durant's injury history can't be ignored. Fred VanVleet's ACL tear leaves Houston without a natural point guard, forcing Udoka to get creative once again. Meanwhile, the Thunder are still probably the favorites to win the West, and Oklahoma City proved last season that depth and continuity can beat star power. But here's the thing about Houston, they're not here to coast. They're not expecting handoffs. Udoka's culture demands they scratch, claw, and fight their way back into contention. Amen. Thompson is expected to keep improving. Şengün is expected to evolve his game. Durant is expected to show that age doesn't matter when a legend is surrounded by the right system. The Rockets became a nightmare in 2024 to 2025 through relentless defense and under-the-radar talent growth. Now, with the missing piece in place, they're becoming even scarier in 2025 to 2026. That's the kind of roster construction that should have every Western Conference team looking over their shoulder. The basketball world slept on Houston. Now, they're awake and angry.